let's break down into favorite prospects in the first round. Why don't you lead us off, Dylan? Who? Just do you have a couple targets?
Yeah, man, literally anybody on the defensive side of the ball that the football people or the scouts are telling you about. Like, don't be the smartest man in the room. Don't Jalen Reagor the defensive side of the ball this year, right? If Devin Lloyd's there and you're going linebacker, if Kobe Dean's there and you're going linebacker, you take one of those two. You don't take someone else. If you're going corner, let's say Sauce is the only one going, and you go with Booth Jr. or you just
Derek Stingley Jr.
Yep. Like you go there. So outside of that, I don't have any high, hopes for this. I just hope that if they whatever position they go with, I hope that they listen and that they take the best player available or one of the two best players available and not, like Rob just said, go completely outside the box, the fourth ranked prospect at that position group with the 16th overall pick. I'll lose it. I will lose my mind.
The name that like screams that to me is Boye Mafe. He's an edge rusher.
I don't want to say his name. I don't even like his name.
Like,
I don't
I
want to say
saw that.
it.
I saw that in a mock, and I was like, dude, that screams like Howie. Like he's
yeah,
just
it does. But say that, I want to say that name all year long. Boye Mafe. No, I don't.
Listen, this town has a tough enough time with names. They don't need another one that they're going to just butcher.
Ready for Castellanos?
No, I can't wait. I freaking can't wait. I'll butcher that name all season long. What about you, Rob? Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the name. Look, I like all the deep, but Devin Lloyd is the name for me.
Yeah,
I love the idea of a linebacker that just plays nasty. You know what I mean? I just love the idea of the strong linebacker who could do just everything you ask out of a lead linebacker on the field. So he's certainly one. And then I don't know, maybe it's because we didn't get my Justin Jefferson, but I love the idea of Derek Stingley if he falls. I know the question marks that are out there about him. And how, like, it was, after that first season, it kind of – but I would love the idea of a Derek Stingley in the secondary and watching him get to learn from a guy like Darius Slay over the next year or two as well. Yeah. So, like, if I have, like, there's other names too, but I'll stick with those two just for the sake of argument. Devin Lloyd, Derek Stingley Jr. If one of them are called to the Eagles, I'll be very happy on draft night.
Yeah, Sauce Gardner is my favorite. Yeah. He's in my top 5. That's how high I am on him. For me, Trey Walker is a guy I've been high on for a long time. I know he's like projected in the top 10 now, but in the world where he falls to like that 10 to 12 range, would love to trade up and get him. You saw the Eagles, bring in Hassan Reddick, a guy that Jonathan Gannon should be getting a little creative with. Trey Walker can do a little of the same kind of stuff. He can blitz the quarterback. He can stop the run, but he can also he's 6'5", but has immense lateral agility. Can drop back into coverage. I think if Hassan Reddick is any indication, like the Eagles will be looking for guys that can hit all 3 levels and not only get to the quarterback but drop back if needed. Hence, we saw kind of the Eagles looking into Devontae Wyatt out of Georgia. Devontae Wyatt is a smallerish defensive lineman, but the dude has lateral agility for days. The dude spies quarterbacks literally for Georgia. It's nuts. And he's 300 plus pounds. So I think that's kind of where Howie is leaning towards and getting Jonathan Gannon's kind of defense, the personnel he needs. Because let's be honest, they didn't have it last year. I love the Devin Lloyd choices, Matt. He's my number 1 linebacker. It's not going to happen. But talk about a safe pick, man. That's just a no-brainer selection, man.
Listen, go ahead.
I was just going to say anyone on Georgia's defense is like I feel about a lot of LSU wide receivers in the past. Like, I don't think you could go wrong drafting a top of the draft Georgia defensive. So the Kobe Dean, Jordan Davis, Wyatt, Walker, that defense was stout as stout could be. You draft a guy from that, they can play right away and they can make an impact right away. So I'm good there.
I think Devin Lloyd, like I said, I mentioned him, and then Rob, that's your go-to. And just think about the transformation of this linebacker room. If that pick is to be made, obviously Hassan Reddick's going to be used all over the place and going to be more of an edge rusher, rushing the quarterback type of role. But he's a linebacker. They invested in the linebacker room. Kaiser White, linebacker. Devin Lloyd. You go from what you had last year with Alex Singleton being the top linebacker, T.J. Edwards, Rashawn Bradley, and you go from them to Hassan Reddick, Kaiser White, and Devin Lloyd. Yeah, I feel a lot better.
All right, no hate on my boy Sean Bradley, please.
You got Reddick. You got a Temple boy.
I know.
Here now.
Fair. That's fair. Yeah, I had a Georgia Bulldogs podcast join us several months ago, and he was just raving about Devontae Wyatt and his leadership. And doesn't that scream like what the Eagles are looking for on the defensive line with Cox on the way out? Just screams Eagles. Another guy worth mentioning is Drake London. Sorry, another USC wide receiver. He's 6'5". Yeah. He's a contested catch guy, and the ghost of J-Jaw still lingers because it gives Eagles fans shit in their pants. Literally. He's not. I agree. He's not the best, off the line, but he's got really quick feet. He needs clearly, a head coach that can get him moving. But the dude is just such an amazing talent. I think that's the most divisive wide receiver in the first round. He was my number one in my rankings. But Drake London is 6'5", just dominates. It's a mismatch league, man. You have a quarterback that truthfully struggles with accuracy in that intermediate to downfield areas of the field. Having a guy like Drake London is not only a great fit with Devontae Smith, but he is that X receiver downfield outside guy and he can play kind of in the backfield and in the slot that you need. So I think Drake London is a guy worth mentioning. Any comments on Drake London, guys? Have you seen him?
Yeah, I would be okay with it because I do feel whoever you draft from a wide receiver, don't just draft another small, speedy guy. Like, I think you got to get a guy with a little bit of size. Now, look, if he's got some speed, like I know that there's a lot of talk in the later rounds, the kid from North Dakota State, has a bigger body, but
Christian Watson.
Yeah, he's got a little speed to him. But look, if you draft me a big wide receiver that's got some skills that can go up and catch the ball, and you're not just going to tell me he's a good blocker, hey, I'm ready to roll. You know what I mean? I'm totally fine with a bigger wide receiver. And I think, I don't know if it was the kid from Watson or if it's – but I always like a bigger guy if maybe you could throw him in the slot every now and again. When you have Quez and Devontae on the outside kind of giving you that speed flare on the outside. So I'm totally on board with that.
You said he's what, 6'5"?
Yeah, he's big. He's a big boy.
Well, if he can high point the ball and mask some of Jalen Hurts' accuracy issues down the field, then I'm all for it. That fits the criteria of what Dylan's looking for in a wide receiver to fit this team right now. And like I said before, free agency, I wanted a fit type of wide receiver, a veteran, big target, big body guy, possession guy. If that fits the mold, go ahead.
Yeah. He had the ghost of J-Jaw and the ghost of Nelson Aguilar there. Quinn says, I like to get an Alshon Jeffrey type wide receiver. And yet, lastly, before we move into free agency and grades, Treylon Burks out of Arkansas is an absolute beast. You want a big body wide receiver, check him out. He has not only the size, but legit speed, legit A to B speed that you're looking for. So, and then Drake London has his pro day next week, which is probably going to like that for me. That's like all invested. Like that is the event of next week. Because if Drake London runs the shit out of a 40 and shows great separation and great quickness, man, he's going to be a top 20 pick. That's how good he is.